Hi, I'm Don. Welcome to my studio.
Mats and tools are all sponsored by the following brands. The plan was to paint gold NMM today, but after looking at the model, I realized I have to paint the underside of the cloak first, which is white. So today we're airbrushing, and we're airbrushing white without using white paints. By the way, watch until the end of the video for my Vallejo white paint recommendations, both for brush painting and airbrushing. Painting white is not fun because white in general, regardless of brands and regardless of the Vallejo range, is kinda chalky, or if not chalky, it's glazy. Basically, that's the nature of the pigments used for white paint because naturally they were derived from minerals, rocks, talcum, and chalky stuff. So today I'm showing you how to paint white without actually using white paint because I like painting lighter colors by building up darker color first. It's very natural for lighter colors to struggle in terms of coverage if you're painting them over dark primer or especially black primer. Basically, if you treat any painting method, even dry brushing, which you saw in my previous videos, if you treat them like layering, meaning you use more colors, if you use more colors, you'll end up with better transitions and smooth transitions because the paints will kind of do the blending for you. Oh, by the way, I'm using my Grapho now. My Infinity could do the rest of the job with this painting, but I just like using my Grapho because I bought it myself. As you can see, the light gray is kind of blending nicely over the phantom gray. You could use any medium gray for this, but the point here is that it's easier to do nice blending and nice transitions if you use more paints or more colors. Depending on your knowledge of how to thin paints or specific colors, and even your skill level with the airbrush, of course you could paint white or light gray over black primer and have nice blending. But in most cases, like in general, people like us, like me, I find it easier to do smooth transitions if I use more colors. The original plan was just to paint the undersides of the cloak because it's white, and to be more efficient, we're using the airbrush. But I decided to do Zenithal for the whole model, and I think I'll be forced to use inks or transparent paints just to maximize the Zenithal underpainting. Oh, by the way, if it's not obvious in the video, I paint in really thin coats with the airbrush. I like layering like thin layers of paint on top of each other. I tend to apply around 2 to 3 thin coats, and it creates better transitions for me. Oh, and make sure you let dry in between coats with a hair dryer.
That's good.
Now we paint with the Mecha White Gray. This is a cooler white gray color. If you want a warmer tone, you should use the Mecha Off-White. So I apply this in 2 to 3 thin coats too, but thin doesn't mean it's over thin. You have to get the hang of mixing the paint so that they're not very runny. I mix around 1 part thinning sauce and around 5 parts paint here. And it's not too runny, you won't produce spider webs. And yet you paint in misty thin coat so that you build up the layers nicely and you produce better, smoother transitions. By the second or third coat or third layer of this painting, you'll have a really nice solid white-gray color. It's practically almost white. Thus, I ended up with just this color and decided not to use white. However, if you are too keen on using white paint, I have my recommendations at the end of the video. In general, if you're airbrushing lighter colors or even transparent paints, you thin them less because they will be so runny if you over thin them. I'm airbrushing at the same pressure here, 20-ish psi, and I just adjust the thinning as the colors get lighter. I say this a lot in most of my videos. Painting with black primer is the easiest because black has the best coverage. Also, it gives us nice volume. But painting light colors over black is not fun. So you should just build up darker colors before you paint the lighter colors. Also, in general, using more colors will yield you better transitions even if it's airbrushing or brush painting. As you can see, it's kinda effortless to paint lighter colors, even white, if you build darker colors on top of the black primer before you paint the lighter color. You don't really need to change any setting. You don't need to change the pressure of your airbrush or change the needle of your airbrush. You just need to get familiar with the thinning of different colors, especially lighter colors. If you're a beginner and you overthinned your paints, you just add paints because you don't want to change anything and just focus on one variable. Oh, sorry, variable sounds too sciencey and it doesn't fit our channel. For Zenithal underpainting, in my personal opinion, you don't really need to paint white. But if you're painting highlights already, I highly recommend you do brush painting with model colors. Model colors are the easiest to brush paint in any of the Vallejo paint ranges. You have the glaze white, which is perfect for glazing. The basic white for base colors. And the gloss white for extreme highlights. The glaze white, even if you overthin with water or mediums, it's the easiest for glazing. I use this paint a lot and I don't need to mix glaze medium because it's perfect already. The basic white is the chalkiest. Even if you mix mediums or glaze medium or overthin with water, the basic white remains the chalkiest of them all. It's only good for basic base colors. The gloss white, on the other hand, is my fav model color white. It feels less chalky, it's kinda smoother, and it's perfect for extreme highlights. If you don't have the white glaze, the gloss white is also good for glazing. In terms of airbrushing white, the Game Air White, the Model Air White, and the Mecha Color Pure White, the Mecha Color Pure White is the less chalky of them all. So I highly recommend the Mecha Pure White. However, the best Vallejo white paint ever for airbrushing is the Premium White. This is the easiest white paint to thin and paint with the airbrush. It's simply the best.
That's it, we're done. I hope you liked the video. Do like, comment, subscribe, and consider joining the channel so that you'll be part of our Discord community. Saludos!